My name is Ken Holmes. I work at United Way of Greater Portland. I'm the donor relations coordinator there. I'm in charge of the donor experience. We have 14,000 donors, and I want to make sure all of them are thanked appropriately and feel appreciated, and make sure we better inform them about our work and the impact that they're doing. I grew up in Rochester, New York, but I lived in Binghamton, New York for about 10 years and decided to move here. My wife and I went to college there and were living there for a while and decided it really wasn't a place we wanted to stick down roots. It just, people weren't happy there. It just wasn't a good way of life, and we literally made a list of cool cities with both Portland's on there and Seattle and San Francisco, Anchorage, Alaska, and we just applied for jobs in all of those places, and Maine was on that list, and I got a job first in Maine. Really hadn't thought about Maine a ton before I came here. As soon as I started learning about Maine, it really is the perfect place. It's just what I'd been looking for. It's walkable, it's bikeable, it's beautiful here. So when we moved here, my wife didn't have a job, and I think it took her about 3 months. She was the city clerk of Binghamton, New York before she came here, and because that's a very specific job, she was assuming she wouldn't stay as city clerk, but in 3 months she was hired as the city clerk of Westbrook, Maine, which is exactly what she's skilled to do and wanted to do. We're both very happy with how it turned out. My work-life balance actually hasn't changed too much, but it seems like there's just a lot more pleasure throughout the day. In the middle of the day, you can walk down to the waterfront and eat your lunch or watch the boats. The surroundings in downtown are just more beautiful. People here are nicer, there's better food. My wife's work-life balance seems a lot better. It seems like she was working a lot more hours back in New York. Here, she's still working a lot of hours, but a little less, and you could tell just with nicer people and doing better work and enjoying it. When I was living in upstate New York, my commute was probably about 25 minutes, but when we moved here, it was just me with a job at first, so we found an apartment right by my work. It's about a block and a half away, and it was a 90-second commute, depending on the amount of traffic in the crosswalk. It was wonderful. I got to go home for lunch every single day, and we just bought a house that's about 4 miles from downtown, and I can jump on the bus and get downtown in about 20 minutes, which is wonderful. My wife bikes to work now. I try to tell everyone that I meet to come move to Maine that it's a wonderful place to live. You know, I sort of will emphasize just how beautiful it is here, how happy the people are. There are great job prospects here. The unemployment rate is much lower than back in New York. It seems like everyone's willing to bend over backwards to help in any way. When we first moved here, all sorts of strangers and acquaintances wanted to meet with her and give her job advice or help her make connections. If people want to move here, I sort of tell them it's going to be an easy process and to make that jump because it's going to be worth it. I think the thing I love the most about Maine is probably the scenery. You know, you can drive a couple minutes out of downtown Portland and you're seeing gorgeous forests. You can drive in any direction and you'll see different mountain ranges. My wife and I love to hike and camp, and it's going to take us years to get to see everything and do everything. It's really just a gorgeous place to live and work, and that's the best thing about it. I'm Ken Holmes, and I live and work in Maine.